And then the poem that it's titled after streets is Elsewhere. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I did it, you know. It just seemed like a good thing to do at the time. She said, noise as birds, if every angel in freshness of eye, of song, or wisteria count years on a postcard, which stands more solid in this cooler climate? She had streets as elsewhere and lived around a chairmaker, houses starved of paint and years, if not pale, sun-dyed. Peacock roses outlined the landscape, under hyacinth blue and no trees. It is excess of walking which rivals violence. Today the sycamore stood 4 acres in water. She glanced up from the card table to the door, a face in front rooms. She thought of sailors, holy waters. She could not recognize sandalwood burning and visitors who arrived too early. Men, she said, fall over their own shadows on summer nights. She had his own story in a diary, charred flesh and marigolds and a light beneath the stairs. She brought him hard bread long after dark. Its curfew bell reminds the town of white stone someone is complaining about the rains. How are we on time?
7:35. We have plenty of time.
Have plenty of time? Well, because I want to begin and end in good energy, I'm going to read the poem that Jonathan quoted from in the middle so that then we can get it out. I don't have to open the door, burn some incense or something, because I don't want to stay in this place very long. I'm just going to read this poem, we're going to go there, and then we're just going to leave it. Okay. But writing can be therapeutic. I'll say that. It saved my life. Being able to write this highly self-indulgent. I never thought I'd write my own controversial poems, is what I said. You know, it's rather embarrassing, right, Carol? You don't want to write your own controversial poems, but I did. So, anyway. And, you know, this is a darling that I would have killed had I let it live longer, but it escaped, and now, you know, here it is, so what do you do? We go around denying it. So might as well own it. Gated All Awake on Dante Festivo. And I did have in mind very much Jan Sibelius's, what was it, 1922 original string quartet. Just the beauty of that piece was all in my head. This poem sounds angry, and it is, but it's also thankful. And I mean that. Gated All Awake on Dante Festivo. 1. There are hands around a small neck. Climb in closer. Without line these your limbs, gills, just a small cut on a mid-season day. Now the squirrel arabesques, limb to limb, dropping, not falling. 2. Gated all awake, eating all your conflagrated hate, pulled down toward this your cord, wrapped around her neck. 3. Swallow content with a full glass of water like your Thorazine baby. 4. What would you have me tell you? Do you want to peer in the window of anyone's wreck? Not just our good Lady Di, just plain old anyone? What you want to know? You know it already. We all dying of something, some just don't know what. 5. Feel it in the wind, and the wind, and the wind, and it's upside down. Feel it in the dust since I got off the bus. Yeah, she'd let them stand in good rosemary for her proxy. She'd tuck the blessed handkerchief into her pillow. 6. Swallow forgiveness. Large gulps. Stay with me now, grandmother. Help me forgive her sin. Unremembered sin. 7. The surgeon would cut Emma's throat, ring round rosy red, scar her pretty white neck, scar her pretty white neck. It was Cole playing the violin. 8. The irony. This was her neck job, performed by a neurosurgeon, not a plastic one. This was because of her sin, mistress sin. They often die young, young, strong sin, and all undone. 9. The best hope, to live long enough to make it to the convent. And give him up, girl, he is your own undoing. And don't you even hold out hope that he get to Amesbury before you go. Don't hold out any hope of his becoming a hermit either. 10. It's time I be heading out. Better get on down the road. There's some good folks up there I got to catch myself up to. And I better put a traveling shoes on now. We leave in Lafayette. And we did, and I lived, and it's all better now. So, now we'll go back to songs of, what shall we call them? Songs of lament and praise, and, well, how about one of this? Even songs, since we're talking about songs, and as well have a quasi-religious one. Even song of caps of me. Translations until our hands tie in other ports. We are bound. I didn't intend for these to segue, but they did. Sorry. We are bound. Scale him and undertake the reform. As shortly after such birds where confines the escape, what time never heard, you remember what she wore. Bird self will take yellow and everywhere accumulate of its branches, spoken, and I, the name again, repeat the land. What strongholds in her, the oath spreads off many lives, bread poured and remain still speaking. We do not know. I waited as if muttering, tangled, or that insect our nights in these, water birds in our bodies painted red. It is singing together, or prophets themselves. I am taking the forest, the grass which lives dance against them. Where are spring to us? See the image, even a dream. The black-sleeved crowd dances. They think ours. I am of whom the hill unites. I'm only the water. We are entangled in scenes. It is their own story, how cold resumes and steals out promises. Where are today? Is it as much as in our bodies? I'm only water. When an angel enters barefoot, when as to recall, imagine the rain also to predict the wind and water up the walls. Imagine the twin and resume this story. I'm trying to find something really light, and I don't know that I have anything really light. I'll try here. Some dead babies. Well, it's a really good dead baby poem. Actually, let me read that, and then we'll move on to get out of the way. Okay, things worn out or lost. Find it again in a rush of birds, flocks of white. The midwife reached Caldwell Hill by moonlight. I am with her. We neared this landing through high native stock grass. I think they were gypsy moths, to rise against, pushing nightfall, sinking, inspired by a year of mud and waiting. The cricket sits, singing in his wings, and from his garden patch, a dark Choctaws, cattle and fowls. Calloused fingers lifted the rotten quilt, the end of the dog trot. She had borne their reins, the nearest wall as an ember lodged in the eaves. Onions sprouted on a windowsill. This must not be my relative. Her first child, the smell of tobacco, distant, and baling wire around a neck, the wench remaining from the ceiling. She said, walk. Rusted wire and blood, her misery to the river as quick as the rise of voice. Find it again in a rush of birds. The child in a white cast iron basin, and keep her slow. And I run again, the angels in me, her misery to the river. Here are the papers, the name. I was to watch from the window and beat back fire from that side.